Thanks. Okay, well, I'll give you a little bit of a rundown. Larry asked me to talk to you guys about just marketing in general. I've always found that that's a very, very difficult topic because everybody's got their own way of doing things. So what I do is I'm going to give you a little bit of just ideas that I've had and some things that have worked in the practice. This is my logo for Scotland Telemedicine, and it's just pretty much marketing the concept. I think it's really important that whenever you do any type of marketing, what I was taught early on is that you don't tell how your product is better, you tell how it's different. If you think about anything like that, better is more of a judgment call. It may be, for instance, I do direct primary care, and direct primary care for some might not be better, but it's definitely different. And it's definitely different from the standpoint, and if that difference is better, then that's good for you. So I think it's important to do that. There was a saying that says you never change things by fighting the existing reality. To change something, build a new model that makes the existing model obsolete. This guy, Buckminster Fuller, was an architect and theorist, and I think that topic of doing this is any illustration that you have, from streaming music to the way theater's done, the way we watch movies, the way we listen to music today, the way we take notes, is just build a better reality. Maybe the way the electric car, as it goes through, build a better reality is going to happen. And I think sometimes when you build a model like direct primary care, what I'm doing is, will that make fee-for-service obsolete, because we do it better? Is there a better way to do this all the way through? And this is even changed. So some of the things, oops, it kind of got messed up a little bit, but I can still read. So word of mouth, I think, is important. There's probably a difference between Mac and PC coming across here, but that's okay. So word of mouth is always, I think, the most important thing. It still is the best driver of my practice. It's just, if you do a good job, people are going to talk about it. And that adage is saying, if somebody doesn't like something, they're going to tell 10 people, and if they do like it, they're going to tell one person. I think you got to be on your P's and Q's all the time to be able to do that. Other thing down here is Chamber of Commerce presentations. When you do Chamber of Commerce, I think it's really important in your local area to grab a hold of your Chamber of Commerce, to talk to them specifically, tell them what you want to be able to do, talk about anything, talk about any health-related type issue that you want to be able to talk about. People eat that up and love it. You become an identity, and it really sells the practice that way. The other thing is social media and YouTube. Social media, I am not a social media guy. I don't Facebook, I don't Instagram, I don't Pinterest, but there's a lot of practice that just live by it, and I think it's a good deal. I do YouTube stuff. So this is one illustration of a video that I did to tell, it's hooked to the audio, right? Excuse me, it's hooked to the audio? I think we're hooked to the audio on this?
Yes.
Okay. So anyhow, I made this video, put this on YouTube to talk about telemedicine services, and like what I'm more fun of doing this stuff in the basement. Larry was saying that I like doing a lot of the video things that I do with the green screen and the whole video stuff, and so I become very geek-oriented when I put this stuff together. So, but anyhow, I hope you like this. This is really fun.
Wow, COVID has definitely changed our lives and the way we interact and communicate with each other. One thing that has been newsworthy is the increased awareness and use of telemedicine. Now, direct primary care has been offering complimentary telemedicine services and virtual visits for the past decade. Telemedicine has been a routine part of direct primary care and will continue as a benefit even after the COVID pandemic is over. So what is telemedicine or virtual visits? Simply, it can be anywhere you are. Today's technologies with communication have never been easier or more affordable. We can have a virtual visit with anyone around the world. Distance is no longer an issue to be able to provide that medical care. So let's say you're on a long-awaited vacation and you have a medical need. Through our Spruce app on your phone or computer, you can communicate with a DPC doctor either with text or voice or a video call. You can be traveling on a road either with work or pleasure, and the medical office can come along with you as a partner to answer any concerns that you may have. We are not limited by geography or zip code. We actually can be in different time zones and continue to be available wherever you are. At the workplace, no time is lost for a health visit. You can visit during a break, which makes your medical care more convenient and again, more efficient. The house call, which has been so commonplace in days gone by, can now return in the form of a virtual visit. Now here's the advantage. No worries about weather or traffic concerns, no bothers or hassles or expense with childcare, no disruption in the jobs or chores around the house. I come to you wherever you are. So don't miss out on this. What a great option for sure. Telemedicine is a core part of direct primary care practices and is complimentary and does not depend on insurance reimbursement or out-of-pocket expense. So, what are you waiting for? Join us today at Scotland Family Medicine Direct Primary Care. We would love to have you join our family. And remember, we bring the office to you.
So yeah, and then it puts up, and it has our website, you know, for anybody who want to be able to look up and come up there. So that's just one quick way of showing something that we offer, but also a fun way to do that. And you know, we got a lot of positive feedback from that. Just thought it was just a funny video to be able to do something like that. So the other thing is business connections. I think business connections are extremely important. Most of the businesses are going to be paying for patients' benefits. And so if you can talk to that business connection and say, hey, look, you know, together we can work together for your clients, you can have an instant panel of people. Let me just give you a quick example of what happened to us that was one of them. It was an accidental type thing, but it worked with our technology. We have a Spruce app on on each of our patients' phones that allows us to text message patients. We also have the aspect of that I can calendar a certain message that comes to a patient. So I saw one of the patients that I had who was just having a upper respiratory infection, and at the same time of the visit, I went to my Spruce message and I said, in 3 days, send her a message to say, how are you doing? So little did I know that she was secretary to a CEO of a company that deals with kids, international students that want to get D1 scholarships in the United States. So they do a postgraduate year at this school, so all athletes. She's sitting there talking to him, her phone goes off. She looks at it, he says, what's that? He says, well, my doctor's texting me to see how I'm doing. He says, your doctor's texting you? Really? That's from your doctor to see how you're doing. I had forgotten about it because it was just a Spruce message. He said, I want to meet this guy. I go over, I talk with them. Next thing you know, we have 140 of their students under our DPC window that we care for. So it's the idea there's business connections, and from that has grown other type of aspects as well. So businesses are a big deal. Larry talks about this a lot, about the business communication with the Rosetta group that we talk about. I find it very, very important and try to work with those businesses because they're the ones going to dictate that care. And if they can do that, you're all of a sudden going to have a large contingent of people that are going to know you. And of course, then that grows because each of those individual patients has family members, friends, and all that kind of stuff. So it just kind of grows inherently. News media, when I first started practice, somebody had given me the advice to say, go to your local news place, tell them, hey, I got this new idea, I wonder if you're interested in just doing a story on me. Well, we have an outlet, Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. It's probably an hour from my office, but they came down with a news team, and this is the story they did on us.
Concierge medicine has a rich sound to it. Some doctors in New York charge $20,000 or $30,000 for patients to have unlimited access to them.
Yeah, but it doesn't have to be that way, and it doesn't have to be just for the rich. In this week's Your Health, Your Choice, Dennis found a doctor offering it to everyone. Dennis.
Hey, Florida, in Franklin County, I found a doctor who is breaking the traditional mold of insurance-driven healthcare. He's also trying to break the myth that concierge medicine is only for rich people. Scotland Family Medicine's website features a Norman Rockwell painting, and Dr. Ken Rictor says his medical model is a throwback.
Years ago, it was the doctor who was like Marcus Welby, and it was the one that was intimately involved with the family. Knew the family, knew the kids, knew the parents, knew the grandparents, took care of them from cradle to grave.
On March 1, Rictor will no longer accept any insurance. His patients will pay $65 a month for adults, $10 for kids, and have total access by phone, email, text, Skype, FaceTime.
24/7 coverage, on call, provided for your family, support, and unlimited visits to your doctor's office.
Patients will pay out of pocket for labs, generic drugs, or x-rays, but Rictor says he'll provide them much cheaper without the insurance bureaucracy.
The 19-panel lab test would, through insurance, cost $115. Through us, it's $13.
Rictor says his model, when combined with a high deductible, low premium catastrophic coverage, passes muster under the Affordable Care Act, and for most people will be cheaper.
You are going to your primary care physician, and that's all you're using your insurance for. Yet you're paying a huge premium for coverages that you'll never use. Good.
Rob Gatch is a believer. He owns Ventura's Pizzeria in Fairfield and says by only carrying catastrophic insurance and raising his deductible, his premium actually dropped more than Richter's fee.
The math would be, we pay Dr. Rictor for the family plan, and our monthly premium with our health care drops greater than that. So we get 24-hour, 7-day access, and we spend less money.
Rictor hopes to entice other employers by promising to reduce overall costs and increase quality.
Healthy employees, healthy business.
Somebody who says, like Mark Swelby with an iPhone.
Now, his practice right now is 3,800 patients. Rictor says only a couple hundred have signed up for his direct primary care plan, Concierge Medicine. He won't accept insurance after March 1st. Now, he knows education is the key. Many of us think we pay nothing for health insurance, so $65 might sound high. But often our employers are paying, or it's coming right out of our checks, and we don't realize that we're paying more than that. Somebody is paying. Rictor thinks when we understand how much we're actually paying, we will realize that $65 a month is actually a good deal. Val?
Interesting story. Well, Dr. Rictor says, again, when combined with catastrophic insurance, his model is acceptable under the Affordable Care Act without penalty.
So anyhow, that was completely free, and our phones lit up the next day like crazy. You know, I mean, it was completely free. And there's so many other services that I had paid for that did nothing like that. And that was just a fun thing. That was a while back ago. I mean, lots changed, but I thought that was a pretty cool deal. I think the last part of it, to me, is a simple deal: just do a good job. I think you do a good job, that word's going to be infectious, and it's going to spread out, and you don't have to do that much effort to be able to market your practice. Communication with your patients is key. I do the videos a lot, and I enjoy doing them, but I send out my videos to patients. My gosh, when the COVID whole thing hit, I was doing a weekly update for patients on COVID. I would massively send out a YouTube video that I would make. And it got to the point that I would say, okay, this is true on Friday. On Monday, I say, forget what I did on Friday. And then on Thursday, I'd say, by the way, what I said on Thursday, remember that, but forget what I said on Friday. You know, and then after a while, I stopped making them weekly, you know, because it was changing so much. But patients told me later they appreciated that more than anything else that I did because they were so scared. And it's just these subtle touches to me that are very easy to do, but you're marketing yourself with care. And I think it's kind of cool. The other thing that we do is that the same nursing facility, I do their physicals for them. And I said, you know, we were finding out that they weren't getting the word about direct primary care. And I said, what if I meet them before they even go into this place? So we charge for our physicals because they're not our patients. We get a fee for that. But essentially, every patient that comes in, I created a QR code that they can go on the phone, and in that, it links to a video saying, this is what we offer for direct primary care. This is our link for minute. And from that, we grow the practice inherently, but we're also getting paid for those physicals. So I pay for my own advertising, basically, from doing that. So I think there's a lot of creative ways that you can do just to get the name out and without spending so much effort on conventional type deal. So doing your job, I think, is a big deal. The last thing I have is something that I made, and I really love this video because there's a great website if you want to do this called Storyblocks. The Storyblocks, and there's a lot of them online, but what they do is you can download copyright-free video clips. And this was made completely from that. I added some special effects on this, but I think it characterizes what we do as primary care physicians. And to me, it's kind of the line that I want everybody to understand of what we're bringing to you with direct primary care. So, but I really like this.
Life begins small and innocent, learning to navigate and move, taking one cautious small step at a time, until we discover our independence. We learn grace and poise. We learn the rules of competition and the skills to work with others. We celebrate and play and explore our uniqueness. Sometimes the path can get tough, but then we celebrate the fresh grass of spring. We climb to heights and achievements. in vocation and career, in society and community, in the commitment to health, or in the service to others. As time marches on, we need assistance with our walk until we finally rest and take our last steps. Scotland Family Medicine Direct Primary Care is your healthcare companion traveling the path of life. From the very first steps to the end of that journey, we are there with you. Scotland Family Medicine Direct Primary Care, traveling the journey of life as your partner in health.
So yeah, that's kind of a cool, feel-good video, just to say, hey, you know, we're here for you. We're here for you. We want to travel this with you. We recognize we're cradle-to-grave type practice. We want to be that go-to person for you. We want to make it accessible for you. And so, honestly, the time commitment of doing that thing was an afternoon. I mean, it really is just not, and that I've gotten so much great feedback from that video that it just kind of keeps on feeding itself over and over. So, and today and age, I mean, my gosh, I can remember I used to do, when I was in residency in this Washington, PA, doing these residencies, I did the Doctor's Entertainment Day. And the videos that I had linked up, I mean, I had wires all over the place editing these videos. And now you can do it with your cell phone, right? So there's no reason you can't record a little thing or say something out to patients. And I think that video presence, especially in our world today, is just really, really important for just that communication skills. And you get a lot of mileage inexpensively. I mean, it costs me nothing to put YouTube videos up. It costs me nothing to be able to send somebody a YouTube link out there through email and through text. So that's about all I have. I'm welcome for any questions or anything you have. Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to, at what point does 24-hour coverage become difficult? How many new subscribers are you able to take on, or do you have a limit?
Well, what we really find is that, and again, patients are understanding, and they're really good about, this can wait till tomorrow. And we have a bunch of caveats that come in there, even through their text messaging. It might be a text message that comes in at 8:30, 9 o'clock at night. And I said, this message will be answered during normal business hours. If it's an emergency, please call us. I can tell you that we have a smaller crowd, because usually with direct primary care, you have a smaller group of people. We have 750 patients. Those patients know they're going to have access to us. And I think sometimes it's the fear of not knowing you're going to have access is what drives the emergency. You know, the fear that I have a headache for a week, but then I just heard my friend had a brain tumor, and so I've got to go get a CAT scan in the next half an hour. You know, it doesn't have to happen. And so maybe it's just that conversation. So it does not become an interference. I mean, I get 8 hours of sleep, and it's handled very well. Our system is built, again, it's an all automated system, that I will get a text message or my private text to say, hey, you got an urgent spruce message. And sometimes it's even education of that patient, like you just put an urgent call for a refill that could be taken care of the next day. You know, and not to be disciplined about it by saying, hey, just to let you know next time, it's just an easier thing for us staff to take care of it. So I personally, and I've talked to other direct primary, it's not a big deal. It just doesn't run into a problem. And I think, you know, there was a study years ago with morphine drips. I don't know if you ever heard the study, but it was the idea that the patient would have their self-propelled morphine deal for pain control. And they found out that when the patient was in control of that and knew that they would be able to get pain medicine, they actually used less of it than asking for the nurse to come in and give it to them because they didn't know where to get it. And I find the same thing is that they know they can get me. They're not all going to be available the next day. It's not this urgency to get out there. So it's a good question. And actually, but the 24/7 is we will provide. We might not directly provide that care, but we'll guide that care.
Right.
Yes.
So I have a big interest in media, medicine and media. So I'm a little curious, beside the YouTube and that lovely story that they did, do you do a lot of other social media work that you're constantly tweeting? Or
I don't. And it's just a matter that I just don't have an interest in it as much.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, my son is actually a musician and won a couple Grammys, as a matter of fact.
Wow.
He's been successful doing it. He lives by Twitter, lives by Instagram, and is constantly, Dad, come on, I'll manage this for you. And I said, it's just not, and I think it's generational. I mean, it's just not part of me. There's other practices, DPC practice, that, I mean, they're fantastic at it and really good. But I just never have been good at it. So I think sometimes and I've heard advertising lectures, marketing lectures, you got to do with what you're comfortable with. And even though I think it's a unbelievably good market value to be able to go out and do social media and Instagrams and that kind of stuff, it's just not a part of me. You know, to here I am seeing another patient for another day, you know, and that type of thing.
Do you ever, you know, still reach out to the media that did the story and say, hey, it is National X Day, we've got a great story?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. And they've done a couple stories on us. In fact, I said recently they did a follow-up story on us. Where are you today? You know, and re-edit. So it's nice. And so to keep that going. And we live in a smaller town, so there's not a local television station. So that television station is about 50 minutes away. But that's what surprised me, actually. It's 50 minutes away, and I had more phone calls about getting care. So, I mean, it's pretty powerful. I think that visual is really powerful.
So I've assumed that for a lot of family physicians, they don't market. And they don't market because they don't want more patients in a fee-for-service world. You're already flooded, you're already full, and having more patients coming in just is problematic. In the DPC world, on the other hand, you're recruiting, you're building, at least to a certain size. And so there's real value in getting your face out there, getting your message out there.
Right.
I'm thinking also in a value-based world where patient loyalty to your system, if you have a panel of patients and you're supposed to be providing all of their care and your compensation is based on the care they get, if they go to an emergency room unnecessarily, that's coming out of your pocket in a full risk model. If they're going off to a subspecialist because they got something and they're sure that's what they need, they just bypass you. But in a value-based world, you really want your patients to see you as the first resource before they go to the emergency room or the urgent care center. So I think that the day of practices educating patients, communicating, I call them gentle touches. Just reminding you, we're here. It doesn't have to be daily. It might be a message a week, and there's a variety of ways of doing that. But I think with the creativity, Ken, that you have, and I'm hoping now that I'm moving back to Hershey, I'm going to get a chance to come see your production studio down.
Yeah, love it.
That sends a message about who you are as a physician to your patients. And I don't think it's only to the young. I think it's to all patients.
Well, it's interesting, again, through the messaging system I have, I can do a group huge text message to every single patient's on our Spruce system. And all is a YouTube link. And I just say, hey, here's another piece of advice, please watch, let you know. And that, because one of the things coming back again, it's not so much marketing to grow, but it's also marketing to keep. With direct primary care, they're paying you a monthly fee. So I visualize gym memberships, right? Gym membership, after a while, you're sitting home with your wife and you're going, hey honey, look at the bills today. We've been paying for 9 months and we didn't go to the gym. Do we really need this thing? And next thing you know, I'm not using it, so I'm out. So there's got to be some type of engagement that I feel for direct primary care offices that you just have to do a little bit extra to go out. We've set up our Spruce system that will alert us if someone hasn't contacted us within 3 months. Like they haven't used the system in 3 months. And it will automatically prompt, hey, we haven't heard from you in a while, how you doing? Right? So that takes the load off of me to be able to watch that. Our system is built in as a reminder, just to let you know how I'm doing. But then I take the effort to say, I'm going to send a video periodically out there to say, we're still out here, and just to give you some idea. And it's interesting, because it'll prompt stuff. Hey, by the way, that reminded me, I need to come in and get my blood work checked. You know, because I saw the video, and it wasn't even about that, but I got to come in and go do that. So I thought, okay, this is a good thing, this is a good thing, this is a good thing. And so I think direct primary care is a little different because you're dependent, you're not so much dependent on office visits. So it used to be when fee-for-service, snow days would kill me because it was so dependent on, oh my gosh, I lost a whole day. Oh my gosh, how much time can I take off? And oh my gosh. With direct primary care, it doesn't matter. It's the same amount coming in every single month. But I think you have to work harder to maintain those relationships. And that makes more valuable to the patient too. So it almost forces you into a good position with your patient in the personal relation, because you have to have it or they're going to drop off. Just like any organization would be. I mean, all of us do that. You know, how many apps have you done before that you run the app and then you realize you haven't used it? You cancel the subscription because you don't use it. Same thing with direct primary care. So I think it's an important aspect of just staying connected that way, and that's one way I found is with the videos. But it can be anything, because we've talked before, Larry, about. I go to the nth degree on these things just because I enjoy doing it. But it doesn't have to be. I mean, it can be, honestly, it can be a little bit thing on your cell phones. Hey, want to make sure you guys are doing okay. Bundle up. It's going to get cold this week. Click and send it out to somebody and send it to your patients. You know, if you need us, let us know. That type of thing.
I would think some of your best marketing would be word of mouth. And have you done anything formal to encourage that, or is it? I mean, I'm sure it happens, right?
You mean formal as far as
like, well, I mean, like a referral campaign or something, but.
No, I did initially when I started the practice, when I was going to make the transition, and I made a transition as a background. I was doing fee-for-service for 25 years, and February 2014, I went from 5,000 patients down to 370. The numbers were a little skewed off the R, but that's how many stayed around. And I thought I was going to have more than that. But for that, every week for 6 weeks, I had a community center and an open town seminar on this. My mistake was that the lecture that I gave was apologetic. I was apologizing for charging for my services because I felt guilty about realizing I had to go that route. And I didn't talk about the values of what I was bringing. It was more like, I have to do this now because I want to stay your doctor, I want to stay independent, and and this is the only way I can do this. My lectures completely changed at this point from doing that. And in answer to your question, I did a lot of Chamber of Commerce presentations, a lot of lunch and learns, a lot of open deal where we invited businesses coming in and invited 15 and 2 people showed up type deal. A lot of empty seats, a lot of stuff. But the momentum now is I don't have to do that anymore, because now that word of mouth is growing our practice. And people are coming in, hey, I heard from you from so-and-so. What's fascinating to me is I worked in an urgent care center to kind of just create cash flow when I first started the practice. And I was doing about 6 or 8 shifts a month. Well, I still stay in contact with them, and I do like 2 shifts a month, mainly just keep skills up, but also I am still overwhelmed by people coming in to that urgent care saying, Doctor, how you doing? You remember me? And I said, yeah, I do. How you doing? You still doing that thing, where you charge for that practice? Man, we didn't know that was even going to last. You still taking patients? I said, yeah, I am. So a bunch of our people are old patients that got tired of the system and are coming back to us because they just didn't understand it. And I mean, it's every single time I go over there, it's another card coming out saying, yeah, give me a call. We'd love to have you come back. So it's just amazing, there's little touches like that. It's just not, I don't have to do as much formal stuff as I used to. So anyway.
I think the public has a tough time understanding what direct primary care is.
Oh, there's no.
I mean, it's just concierge medicine as a affluent or kind of privileged sound to it that may turn off patients. But direct primary care is really, it's a question mark. It doesn't tell me exactly what it is.
No, there is a tremendous, and physicians as well, they don't understand it. And the comment talk says, well, you're a concierge practice. I said, no, I'm really not. And well, if I don't understand, if I have insurance, why do I have to pay for you extra? I mean, I don't get it, because I have coverage now. When was the last time you saw your family doctor? Well, I don't know. Last time I went to urgent care because I couldn't get a hold of him. I'm going, doesn't that add up? And I'll tell you something too, and did mention, it was, Larry, you mentioned this today, and I was nodding my head so hard because I don't know if you guys were here for that Rosetta talk or the combination with the business talk, but I am telling you from my experience, I really went into this very naive. And I said, all I had to do was to show up and say, I'm Dr. Rictor, here I'm offering, and then all of a sudden all these patients come in. We have a very large company in our town, very large company. They sell products to Dubai. They are one of the biggest bread manufacturers around. They have another plant in Atlanta. And the CEO of the company and their sons are all patients of mine. I'm thinking, this is easy. I'm going to walk in there. This is nothing. These guys love me. I mean, I'm going to walk in there. I sat in there with the CFO and the HR person and laid out all of what I had. And the CFO goes, so it's just you? And I said, well, yeah, right now. He says, so you're the only one, right? I said, yeah. What do I have to do if I have to go to the hospital? So I laid that out. And he says, these memberships, are they covered by HSA funds? Well, not yet, but we're pending on it. I said, I tell you what, you get some more doctors, and when that law changes, come back to me. So I did. I got out, formed a small group of doctors, and I come and said, you take patients for direct primary care, and we waited for the laws to change. Laws changed, I walked back, talked to them, and I watched the HR person who were looking at a 35% increase in their Blue Cross and Blue Shield rates. And I was going to come in there, and also at that time came in with the Rosetta team type idea of how they would lower their rates. The president, CEO, owner of the company is my patient. His sons are, his family, all their family members are patient. And the HR person is like this, the whole time. And the CFO, and she goes like, I don't know. I mean, that's a lot of retraining. I mean, do we really want to make these people go through this? It was going to be 40%, but Rob's been really good at getting it 30%. So do we really want to make that jump? Nothing. 3 times over there. I just, mouth open, wise, just incredulous. So you can't do it on your own as a doctor. You cannot. You don't have the tools. There's other things. It's just too complicated. And I couldn't agree with you more, Larry. I mean, you go there with a DPC ticket, and you can talk on that forever. But when you talk about TPAs, and you talk about self-funded plans, and you talk about all kinds of how you take care of the pharmacy aspects of it, you need somebody else to manage that. And we've been more successful that way getting the business since we've teamed up, and we've had some really good, and we got more success coming down the pike now with that. We got another company with 90 employees that are ready to sign up for us through our group that we've got, and I've done nothing except talk about DPC. So my marketing for that has gone down. I used to take it all on, and I don't have to anymore because I teamed up with the right people with the Rosetta group.
Any other questions?
Any other questions? Thanks, guys, very much.